Welcome back. Tonight, I'm going to show you Claude Code's new GUI interface. It looks a lot more like Cursor, for those of you that are familiar. Let me get started we're going to do something real simple. We're going to create a simple recipe app in Android. We're going to utilize Flutter, Android Studio, and Claude Cowork, which is also the Code GUI interface. So let's get started by using Google Stitch, telling Google Stitch, hey, write me a nice app, dark mode for a recipe app, very minimal, and this is what it came up with. So we copy that out, we go to Google Gemini, and we tell it, write me a chat that I'm going to use for Claude Code that is based on these images, right? So then we copy the response out once we've got what we want. Now we go into Android Studio right here, and we are going to set up our directory structure. Choose new Flutter project, choose next. We're going to make sure it's in the test folder because we don't want to be in production. So let's call it recipe. This has to be lowercase, by the way. Okay, we're just going to test this in Android. So if you wanted to make it iOS, you could do that, or web, or a Mac. All right, choose create. This is going to build our folder structure for us. So this is going out there in our test folder, created a new one called recipe. Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to open up Claude. Okay, and inside Claude, you got the chat window, the Cowork, and the code. So the code is new. This came out just a few weeks ago. It came out at the same time as Cowork. So what you're going to do with Claude Code in this GUI interface is we're going to choose the folder that we just created, which is in test. There we go. Test, and we called it recipe. All right. We're going to choose open for that. Okay. And now we got to tell it what to do with it. So we are going to tell it, here we go, do this. And then we also want to add the GUI images that we had Google Stitch create for us. So I go out to my desktop. Here's the two images. Okay. So we're going to show Claude what we want, and let's see how it does. Okay. It's going to go ideating here. So we'll see if it comes back with any questions. So at this point, let's see, here's what it says. I have a few clarifying questions. Okay, so it's asking about the category list. Okay, so now I've got to answer the questions here. So I'm going to utilize an app that I built, which is TalkType. Some of you may have seen a video. I did a video on this. This is a nice product by, OpenAI uses the Dictate software. It's like a 3 gigabyte backend on it. So this was also just built in Flutter. Okay, so let's answer these questions. All right, so let's move this over a little bit here. All right, I just go hold down the Option key. Forget category list. Number 1, there are no other categories. Number 2, yes, but I want to keep it simple and I don't want images. Number 3, I don't think we need a settings on the first run. We're doing basically a MVP, which is a minimal viable project. Number 4, yeah, let's do a search on all those. Number 5, I just want a simple share. I just want to copy this as a text. I just want to be able to text message my friends. So once again, we're just creating an MVP for the first run. All right, there we go. Copy that out to the clipboard. Command V. Okay. We've got that. Get this out of my way. That's a bug on my own program. So I got to fix that later. Okay, here we go. Got it. Let me summarize this to confirm. It's got more questions for me. Okay, let's answer these. Categories, yes. Quick question. We'll just say option B. All right, there we go. All right. I really got to fix my own bug. It's like the chef at the restaurant. You always think the chef has like great meals at their house, and they're probably eating hot dogs and hamburgers, right? So, okay. We're going to give it always allow for the session. All right, so there you can see it's updating its to-dos, which this is a lot like Cursor, right? So this is available, by the way, for, was originally for the first week only available with the Max members, and now it's Max or Pro. So if you've got the $20 package, you actually have access to this. And so, I think it's great the direction they're moving into. I still, I've been doing this since the VIC-20. I've been coding, I think, for about 40 years. I started coding with like Compute Magazine when I was like 10. So I had an old VIC-20 with a tape drive. So, and I'd get Compute Magazine, and inside Compute Magazine, it would actually have the code that you just key it all in. We were the original vibe coders. You could make your own video games. So that was a pretty cool time to be alive, right? So I think we all started with that back then. I'm really showing how old I am here. So, all right, so it's writing the code. Now, when we're done with this and we're ready to test, all I'm going to do is go into Flutter, and which is a plugin for Android Studio. So I'm really going into Android Studio. And inside Android Studio, there's some emulation, and we're going to go run a emulator for the Pixel 9 Pro, and we'll start that up. And then I'm going to play the main.dart file. So, okay, we're going to say allow always. But yeah, I'm pretty interested to see how close, will it get to the images that I gave it. So let me show you while we get started here. Google Stitch. Well, right here. Here's Google Stitch. And this is awesome for those of you who haven't done it. It's just stitchwithgoogle.com. And you just give it chat prompts. And here's where we started. I just wanted something simple. I didn't want pictures. I didn't want that. I wanted just an MVP, which is just a minimal viable project. Here's where we ended. And so at this point, all I did on the Mac was Shift-Command-4, copy that out to my desktop, copy that into Google Gemini, and said, write me the chat prompt for this. Okay. So right there. And I told it exactly what I wanted, just keep it very simple. And now we've got Claude writing it all. Okay. Oh, there we go. Features implemented to run, choose that. So, okay. So we got our first demo here. So let's go into Android Studio now, and let's fire up a new device under Device Manager, hit play button here. Okay, and then when that device is ready, there we go, we're going to hit the main.dart file, hit play. And if we get any errors for this first time, we're already getting it. No Mac OS configured. I didn't really want it to do a Mac OS, so that's kind of weird. Okay, I just want it to be Android. So, okay, so let's go back. Okay, so maybe that was either not in the prompt or there was some confusion there. Okay, so we want to go back in here. This error. You were just supposed to write this for Android. Okay. Okay, so let's see where the confusion was. So, okay, the code I wrote is fully compatible, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. So, yes, I'm going to test in Android Studio. Emulator. Okay, so telling it I'm going to test an Android Studio emulator. Okay, so there you go. Alternatively, once your emulator is running, I can run that from terminal. I don't want to do that. And you can see here, you can click on this and open the terminal. Okay, and so I'm going to say, all right, I didn't see where it came back and said, did you fix the error? Oh, wow, he's pretty confident. Oh my goodness, it's right. Well, this goes to show you, I was wrong. I saw the emulator pop this up. Here's my mistake. I did Mac OS instead of hitting the drop-down menu, and I do this all the time. I should know better. So that's all definitely on me. So once again, if you don't choose the right emulator, it'll tell you, hey, you're the dummy here. I'm correct. So I was the dummy. All right, let's try this again. So kudos to those at home that caught that bug of mine. So here we go. Let's try this again. Human error, your number one problem with computers, especially vibe coding. So here we go. It's running it correctly. All right, it's checking. All right, now the first time this runs, it's going to be pretty slow. It should get, so the second time it runs, it's going to be much faster. So I wouldn't worry about that problem. Here we go. It's fetching the repositories for look like the SDK. Here we go. Here's our recipe app. Colors look pretty much dead on. Let's see if we get any bugs in this. So there we go. Add it. So I'm going to go with, I don't know if you guys remember this Subway Seafood Sensation. I actually still make this. They stopped making this sub about 10 years ago. So I make this for lunch. Its ingredients is fake crab meat, mayo, lemon juice, and I think that's it. Oh, salt. And a Kaiser bun. Okay. Mix ingredients. And stir. Put on bun. And add lettuce. And cheese. That's it. That's all there is. I'm going to take that off because I said stir ingredients. I'm going to change this to Kaiser bun. Got to be specific. All right. Let's see how this goes. Save recipe. There we go. That's pretty cool. Now we go here to, and it shouldn't be, oh, it can do that. Well, isn't that cool? Sharing text message. And that's it. So we one-shotted this thing. The only bug we had was human error. It was just me. It wasn't the actual application. So Claude Code nailed this thing. So pretty cool, you know. Is there a huge difference between this and Cursor? I don't think so. You know, maybe there's there's a planing function in Cursor. But I mean, if you're using the Claude Opus, it's much more expensive to run that on Cursor than it is to run it on native Claude. So I think it's pretty awesome. So kind of one-shotted right here. So anyhow, let me know what you guys want to see me write next. So for a test. So I appreciate everybody tuning in. Like and subscribe down below. And next video, I'll try not to have human error. So, and if you watch my last video, I'm just happy Claude didn't attack my production database. So that's a pretty good one. In my last video, I had it doing it was the dictation software. And in the middle of the video, it was having problems with the auto paste. And it's like, hey, this worked in one of my other programs. Go look in prod and see how it worked. And it came back and it said, I'm sorry, I ruined that program. And I said, what? And it's like, yeah, I ruined your program on accident. I was like, I didn't tell you to change it. He goes, next time, make that very clear. So I learned this time, I didn't tell it to go touch my prod. So we kept it in test. We're all good. So thanks again for watching. Like and subscribe down below. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.